The choices you make at 40 don't really hit you at 40. They hit you at 65, when the bank account either covers your retirement or doesn't. That's the tricky thing about your 40s. From the inside, it feels like the most stable decade of your life. Kids settled, income peaking, mortgage finally manageable. But under the surface, it's actually the most expensive decade for making the wrong move. 10 specific mistakes most Canadians make in their 40s end up costing them 6 figures by retirement. Most of them feel completely reasonable at the time. That's why they're so dangerous. I'm Nathan, and I've watched these exact patterns play out across thousands of Canadian households. Today I'll walk you through every one of the 10 mistakes, what each one actually costs, and how to spot it before your future self pays the bill. The first mistake is treating your home equity line of credit like a checking account. By your 40s, you've built real equity in your home. The bank notices. They offer you an H.E.L.O.C with a generous limit, and suddenly there's a number sitting on your banking app that looks like free money. It isn't. As of late, 2255 Canadians collectively owed roughly $179.5 billion against their H.E.L.O.C balances, the highest level since 2019. The trap is the interest-only payment. You borrow $40,000 for a kitchen renovation, pay maybe $200 a month in interest, and tell yourself you'll get to the principal later. Later never comes. Then rates move. A $200,000 H.E.L.O.C balance that cost roughly $450 a month in interest when rates were low was costing over $1,100 a month once the Bank of Canada hiked. That's not a renovation cost. That's a retirement cost. Every dollar you leave sitting on a H.E.L.O. past your 40s is a dollar that doesn't get to compound in an R.R.S.P or T.F.S.A for 25 years. Treat the H.E.L.O.C like a fire extinguisher. Useful in an actual emergency. Dangerous as a lifestyle. The second mistake is not bumping your R.R.S.P contribution every time your salary jumps. Most Canadians in their 40s get the biggest income increases of their working lives. Promotions, bonuses, raises that go from 3% to 7%. And what happens to that extra money? It quietly gets absorbed into lifestyle. A nicer car, a bigger grocery bill, a vacation you wouldn't have taken at 35. Meanwhile, the R.R.S.P contribution stays at whatever you set it at when you were 32. For 2026, the R.R.S.P contribution limit is $33,810, which works out to 18% of your prior year's earned income, up to that cap. Most people in their 40s contribute nowhere near it. The average R.R.S.P contribution for Canadians aged 45 to 54 is around $4,200 a year. If your salary jumped from $80,000 to $110,000 and your contribution didn't move, you just handed the CRA roughly $9,000 in tax you didn't have to pay. Compound that over 20 years, and you're looking at a 6-figure hole. The fix is mechanical. Every time you get a raise, increase your R.R.S.P contribution by at least half the raise. Set it to auto-deduct. Your future self literally cannot do this for you. The third mistake is co-signing loans for your adult children, the car loan, the student line of credit, the first apartment lease. You love your kids and you want them to launch. The bank knows that. So they hand you a piece of paper that says you'll cover the payment if your 21-year-old can't, and you sign it because what's the worst that could happen? Here's the worst. If your child misses payments, those missed payments hit your credit score, not just theirs. If they default, the bank comes to you for the full balance. And if you're applying for a mortgage refinance, a H.E.L.O.C increase, or a small business loan in your 50s, that co-signed debt counts against your ratios as if it were your own. People watch a $25,000 co-signed car loan turn into a $40,000 problem when the relationship breaks down or the job goes away. You can help your kids in other ways. Gift them a down payment, pay for driving lessons, let them live at home for a year. But don't put your retirement on the line for a financing agreement. The fourth mistake is trading T.F.S.A contributions for R.E.S.P contributions. This one hurts because it comes from love. You want to pay for your kids' education. So every spare dollar goes into the RESP, the government adds the 20% Canada Education Savings Grant, and you tell yourself you'll get back to the TFSA once tuition is sorted. The math is brutal. The cumulative TFSA room for someone eligible since 2009 is $190,000 in 2026. Every year you skip that contribution is room you never get back in terms of compounding. Your child has options, scholarships, loans, part-time jobs, a cheaper school, working a year before university. You at 67 have exactly one option, which is whatever you saved. There is no retirement loan. There is no retirement scholarship. The RESP is a beautiful tool, but it should never come at the expense of your TFSA. The rough rule is fill the TFSA to its annual limit first, then the RESP up to the level that captures the grant, then anything extra goes back to the TFSA or R.R.S.P. Your kids' tuition is their problem. To share, your retirement is yours alone. The fifth mistake is rolling vehicle leases every 4 years instead of buying and holding. This is one of the quietest wealth destroyers in Canada. The lease feels manageable. $549 a month for a nice SUV, you turn it in after 48 months, you get the new model, and you never really notice the money leaving. But here's what's happening underneath. Over a 10-year period, a Canadian who buys a $45,000 vehicle and keeps it for the full decade comes out ahead by roughly $11,500 compared to someone leasing the same class of vehicle on rolling 4-year contracts. And that's just one cycle. Do this from 40 to 65 and the gap can stretch past $40,000. The trick the dealership doesn't advertise is the years after the loan is paid off. Once the car is paid for, your monthly cost drops to insurance and maintenance, which might be $200. That gap, the difference between a lease payment and zero, is what you redirect into your TFSA. The lease never lets you reach that 0 point. You're permanently renting depreciation. By the way, the average Canadian auto loan term has stretched to 84 months. That's 7 years. If you can't afford a car, at 60 months, you can't afford the car. The sixth mistake is delaying estate planning until a health scare forces it. The data here is grim. Only about 34% of Canadians aged 35 to 54 have a will. Only 15% have a full estate plan. The reasons people give are always the same. We'll do it later. The kids are still young. We don't have enough assets to matter. Every one of those reasons collapses the moment something actually happens. If you die without a will in Canada, your province decides who gets what under intestacy rules. In most provinces, your common law partner of 10 years may get nothing if you weren't legally married. Your business partner may end up sharing your share with a 19-year-old child. Probate fees climb. The CRA still wants its capital gains tax. And your family spends 18 months in court instead of grieving. A basic will, a power of attorney for property, and a power of attorney for personal care can be done for a few $100s at most law firms in Canada, or even cheaper, online. Beneficiary designations on your R.R.S.P, T.F.S.A, and life insurance bypass probate entirely if set up properly. Doing this at 42 instead of 62 protects two things: your assets and the 20 years of compounding that happen between. The seventh mistake is holding a work pension and personal investments without a coordinated withdrawal strategy. This one only reveals itself in retirement, but it's built in your 40s. Most Canadians in their 40s have at least 2 or 3 retirement buckets going: a defined contribution pension at work, an R.R.S.P, a T.F.S.A, maybe a spousal R.R.S.P, maybe a non-registered investment account. Each one is taxed differently when you withdraw. R.R.S.P withdrawals are fully taxable as income. T.F.S.A withdrawals are completely tax-free. Pension income may qualify for the pension income tax credit. Capital gains in a non-registered account are taxed at 50% of your marginal rate. If you don't coordinate which bucket you draw from in which year, you can easily push yourself into a higher tax bracket, trigger OAS clawback, and lose 15 to 30% of every retirement dollar to tax you didn't have to pay. The fix is not complicated, but it has to start now. Know which accounts you have, what they hold, who the beneficiaries are, and roughly how you draw them down between 65 and 90. A 1-hour session with a fee-only financial planner in your mid-40s can save you tens of thousands in retirement. The 8th mistake is buying every protection product the bank offers. Extended warranties on appliances, balance protection insurance on credit cards, creditor insurance on mortgages, mechanical breakdown insurance on cars. Each one feels small. Each one feels reasonable. Each one carries a payout rate that would make a casino blush. Balance protection insurance on a credit card costs around 1% of your balance every month, which works out to roughly 12% annualized. Most claims are denied for pre-existing conditions or employment categories that weren't clearly explained at sign-up. Mortgage creditor insurance from the bank is almost always more expensive than a private term life policy with better coverage. Extended warranties on appliances. An electronics payout on under 20% of policies sold. The honest version of these products is term life insurance from a third-party insurer, a proper emergency fund, and a good credit card with built-in purchase protection. Cancel the rest. A family in their 40s saving $80 a month on canceled protection products. And redirecting it to a TFS is looking at over $35,000 of additional retirement money 25 years later. The 9th mistake is buying a timeshare or a US vacation property in your 40s. The pitch is always seductive. You and the spouse just had a great week in Florida or Mexico. The presentation room has free drinks. The salesperson talks about locking in today's prices for tomorrow's family memories. And you sign. Here's what those documents actually contain. Annual maintenance fees that rise faster than inflation, often 5 to 8% a year, that you owe whether you use the property or not. Resale values that are typically pennies on the dollar within 5 years. A US dollar denominated property exposes you to currency risk for the rest of your life. US estate tax can apply to Canadians who own US real estate above certain thresholds, and the paperwork is not friendly. Property managers, repairs, hurricanes, HOA, disputes. The number of Canadian families I've watched try to unload a timeshare in their late 50s for free just to escape the fees is genuinely high. If you love a destination, rent a place there for 2 weeks every year. You'll be ahead by $80,000 over 20 years, and you'll have full flexibility. Memories don't require ownership. The 10th and final mistake is treating bonuses and tax refunds like spending money. A bonus feels like a gift. A tax refund feels like the government finally giving back what it owed you. Both feelings are normal. Both are expensive. The average tax refund in Canada is over $2,000. Annual bonuses for mid-career professionals can run anywhere from $5,000 to $30,000. If you spend that money on a trip, a TV, or paying off a credit card you'll just rebuild, you've converted a lump sum of seed capital into nothing. If you put that same $7,000 into a TFSA every year from 40 to 65, with a reasonable 7% return, you'd be looking at over $440,000 sitting there at retirement. That single habit, treating bonuses and refunds as seed capital rather than spending money, is what separates Canadians who retire with options from Canadians who retire with constraints. The CPP maximum benefit in 2026 is around $1,433 a month if you qualify for the full amount, and the average payout is closer to $850 a month. That's not a retirement. That's a top-up. Whatever you build on top of it is what you'll actually live on. So, those are the 10. None of them feel like big mistakes in the moment. The H.E.L.O.C balance feels manageable. The lease payment feels affordable. The cosign feels like helping. The skipped T.F.S.A contribution feels like a trade-off for the kids. The bonus feels like a treat. That's the entire trick of your 40s. The decisions don't feel heavy until you're standing at 65 looking at the bank account they built. The good news is none of these are irreversible at 40. You can pay down the H.E.L.O.C, increase your R.R.S.P contribution, buy out the lease, write the will, cancel the protection products, and redirect the next bonus. You just have to do it now, not later. Your 65-year-old self is the one writing the check either way. Decide today which version of them you want to be,